Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Let's talk about some NFC East rumors. And first up, I think you guys know what we're going to talk about. Y'all freaked out last night on social media because The Athletic said there was no interest in Earl Thomas or Landon Collins. So everyone take a big deep breath here and breathe. The report that there was no interest isn't entirely true, and it's actually not all that accurate. All right? Here's what's going on, and if you watch the show, I've said this to you guys for months. There is a price limit for the Dallas Cowboys and Earl Thomas and Landon Collins, and insert any free agent here. Like, I tweeted it out literally 4 hours before the Athletic made their report. It's the exact same report. I just didn't put in the BS about how there's no interest. There is interest in Earl Thomas, but it has to be at the right price. Last week, one of our rumors was Earl Thomas at the right price, and we gave it 4 stars. We have told you guys this for weeks, bordering on months now. The Cowboys want Earl Thomas, but it has got to be at the right price. If the money is too much, Dallas is out. They are not going to throw $14, $15 million at Earl Thomas. If he can get that, congratulations, good for ET. I'm not so sure he's going to be able to get that. So again, Landon Collins, Earl Thomas, it's a fun debate to have. I think both might end up pricing themselves out. If so, that's okay. But to say that there's no interest is just not accurate. The Cowboys tried to trade for Earl Thomas. They have interest in him. They might not sign him. That's a very plausible outcome. That's why we haven't given it above 2 stars as of late. But it's a money thing. It's not a lack of interest thing. There is a price limit here for the Dallas Cowboys and for Earl Thomas and for Landon Collins and maybe for Eric Weddle as well. So would you make Earl Thomas the highest paid safety at $13 million plus? When we've had these discussions before, for the most part, you guys have said I'd pay him 10 or 11. Producer Brett said he was already out on Earl Thomas. Type A for yes, type B for no. All of these are viable answers. And I think that because we saw the no interest, we just ran with that and we had a total meltdown on social media. Free agency is still like a full week away. Let's all take a big deep breath and see what happens. And then if nothing happens, I will riot alongside of you guys. Now for updates on the Giants, Redskins, and Eagles, I'm going to kick it over to Thomas Mott.
Thanks, Tom. Let's jump right into the rest of the NFC East, and starting as always with the Philadelphia Eagles. And this rumor is coming to us about Michael Bennett. Could the Eagles be shopping or open to move Michael Bennett, move on from him in 2019? Now, the report is the Eagles discussed trading Michael Bennett to multiple teams during the NFL Combine. So they went around the NFL Combine, met with other teams, and started saying, hey, Michael Bennett is open to trade if you're interested in him, and the growing sense is that Michael Bennett will not be on the roster in 2019. Remember, the Eagles traded for Michael Bennett from Seattle back in 2018, so he's a relatively new player. And we look at his profile here now, the Eagles would save $7.2 million if they were to either trade him or cut him. And listen, it kind of makes sense. Bennett turns 34 in November, so he's getting up there in age. He did have 9 sacks back in 2019 and was a good player for the Eagles. But with the money being a little bit of an issue for Philadelphia, moving on from Bennett could be one of the options. Now, the other option is to restructure his deal and kind of give him a little bit of an extension going forward. Remember, if you restructure Michael Bennett's deal, then you could kind of save a little bit of money against the cap going forward. And the Eagles right now are working very, very hard to have as much money as possible to be able to add people in free agency. Because if you remember, they started free agency started the new league year over the cap. So they're trying to get under the cap right now. Eagles fans, and really guys in general, who do you think, or what do you think the Eagles should do with Michael Bennett? Let me know in the comments section. Our next rumor, it's the weekly NFC East Antonio Brown rumor, and this time the reports are that the Eagles are one of the teams interested in acquiring Antonio Brown. Now, Jason Lockenford thinks the Eagles, again, he said it, will make a run at Antonio Brown. Remember, it's going to cost draft picks. They're going to have to trade for him, and the Eagles currently have 9 total draft picks in 2019. Now, the Eagles, they were over the cap, but now they are actually under the cap, and a lot of interesting things have been going on with the Eagles behind the scenes. They've been restructuring people, they've been signing people, and they released I just forgot his name, but they released Tim Jernigan, there it is, I got it, the defensive lineman, to free up a ton of space. So the Eagles were over the cap, and now they are actually under the cap by about $20 million, and they're going to be able to get a little bit more money depending on what they do with Jason Peters and Michael Bennett. So the Eagles now suddenly have the cap space to go out and acquire a guy like Antonio Brown. The question is Brown worth it for the Eagles? We know his 2018 numbers, 12,097 yards, 104 catches, 15 touchdowns. He's still an elite player. It's a matter of, are the off-season or off-field issues enough to scare the Eagles away, or do they think his talent is enough to keep him and bring him to Philadelphia? This one's interesting. Let me know. I want to hear from everyone out there in Chat Sports Land, Dallas Cowboys Report, everything. What should the Eagles do? Should they trade for Antonio Brown? I'm looking for your comments in the comments section. Next, we move on to our Giants portion of the show, and the rumor right now is centered around Josh Rosen. Could the New York Giants be interested in trading for current Arizona quarterback Josh Rosen? Now, Bleacher Report said they broke the news that Giants are interested in trading for Rosen. The Giants met with Rosen last year during the combine and pre-draft meeting. So they had interest in drafting a quarterback last year. They met with Rosen, so they're familiar with him. They did their draft homework on him, but of course decided to go with Saquon Barkley at number 3 overall. The Giants do have 10 picks in this year's draft. That's kind of on the upper end of draft picks in 2019. And trading for Rosen, the reports are, could be anywhere from a second to a third or a fourth round pick. And so the Giants do have the ammunition to be able to do that. Now, to quickly refresh you on Josh Rosen, here are his player profile. He was the 10th overall pick by the Cardinals in 2018, really the last quarterback in the first round to be picked. Besides, Lamar Jackson was later, but the last quarterback in the top 10 to be picked after they went on the run of Mayfield and Darnold and Allen and all them. He played in 14 games last year, only threw 11 touchdowns. He did throw 14 interceptions as well. He was arguably the worst quarterback out of the first rounders, although people think that get him a good coach and a good scheme, and also a really good offense, Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr., and you could have a really good addition here for Josh Rosen. The main problem is, of course, Eli Manning. You're paying him a ton of money this year, so if you did trade for Josh Rosen, odds are he would sit behind Eli Manning going forward. Who do you guys want to start at quarterback for the Giants? Would you rather have Rosen, type R for Rosen, type E for Eli Manning, or type S for somebody else? There could be someone else who they acquire. Let me know in the comments section. The next one, it's about Odell Beckham Jr., and this was kind of a cryptic tweet that we saw from Odell last night. Now, this came hours after the Giants decided to not franchise tag one of their best players, Landon Collins, and Odell Beckham, of course, has been in constant trade rumors since dating back to last season. Now, he is signed through the 2023 season, but it doesn't mean you can't trade him. Here's the tweet. Let's throw it up right there on the board. You see it. It's Odell Beckham. It's just emojis. I'm going to try to, do a little, put my emoji translator hat on. He has the laughing face and the silent face. And this, of course, was after, like I said, the Giants refused to franchise tag Landon Collins, a very, very good young player. So a couple of things here. Odell could just be laughing at the fact that they didn't extend his friend, right? Could be upset that he's buddies with Landon Collins. Landon Collins didn't get his money, and the Giants are moving on from a good player. Or it could be kind of a laugh or a jab at the Giants front office to say, oh my gosh, look, they're making another mistake. They tried to trade me, didn't work, and now they can't sign Landon Collins, doesn't work. Or, if we really want to dive into this, he could be laughing at the fact that they can't afford to pay Landon Collins because they're paying Eli Manning so much money. And we've already been hinted at that Odell Beckham is not a big Eli Manning fan, which I guess makes sense because Eli's been pretty bad recently, but that's neither here nor there. So we got to keep an eye on Odell Beckham Jr. All the trade rumors revolve around Antonio Brown, but seems to be some growing tension in the Giants organization and Odell Beckham. Maybe he's moved, maybe he's not. I don't know. Read into the emojis for yourself. Finally, let's go ahead and break down the Redskins rumors here. We never want to forget them. Even though they had a rough year last year, we're going to jump right in. Kyler Murray is the rumor here, and I'm being told, and a lot of websites that I read said that the Redskins might be preparing a trade to move up and go grab Kyler Murray. The big one here was SB Nation reporting this. The Redskins have a major interest in the former Oklahoma quarterback and Heisman winner. Remember, Alex Smith's not going to play in 2019, and the Redskins do have 9 draft picks in this year's draft. Like the Giants, it's very, very high. So, I went back in time and kind of wanted to recreate what it would look like to trade up to number 1 overall to get a quarterback. Remember, the Rams did it. They traded with the Titans to go get Jared Goff in 2016, and this is what it looked like. So, potentially, this is what it could look like if Murray, or if the Redskins trade up to go ahead and grab Murray. So, the Rams got the first-round pick, the number 1 overall, or they gave up, the Rams gave up their first-round pick. They gave up 2 second-round picks, a third-round pick, all in that draft. Then a year later, they gave up a first-round draft pick and another third-round draft pick. So to move up to number 1, it cost a lot. In the sense of at least 2 first-rounders, at least 2 second-rounders, and at least, according to this trade, 2 third-round draft picks. The big ones here are the first-rounders. It's going to cost you this year's and next year's to move up to number 1. Could it happen? Could the Redskins be in tow to try to go get Kyler Murray? Well, listen, we're going to see Kyler Murray's draft hype is only going to keep going up as we get closer to the NFL draft. And so a team like Washington could sit down, meet with him, go to his pro day and be like, hey, this is a franchise quarterback. We'll do whatever it takes. Here are our draft picks. We're going to rebuild around Kyler Murray. Do you guys think the Redskins should trade for Kyler Murray? It's a lot to give up, but like we said, it's either Colt McCoy or no one else on the roster right now. So let me know. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts if they should trade up for Kyler Murray. Finally, some NFC East, kind of inter-NFC East, back and forth with teams. The Redskins are actually rumored to be interested in former Giants safety, Landon Collins. Remember, talked about the Odell Beckham rumor. The Giants are not going to franchise tag Landon Collins. He will become an unrestricted free agent. The Redskins, listen, they could use some help in the secondary, and Landon Collins is one of the best safeties in the league, not only statistically, but he's also very, very young, which is hard to find in a free agency market with a guy like Earl Thomas, who is approaching 30 years old, or is already 30 years old. The Redskins do have about $17 million in free cap space right now. They could always get more based on moves. We saw the Eagles go from negative in the cap to having $20 million in free cap. We talked about it earlier, so the Redskins could do the same, but $17 million would probably be enough to go out and get Landon Collins and sign him to a long-term deal. I don't know. I mean, for me, pulling a really good player away from your interdivisional rival, that's not a bad move in any case, because he can help you scheme, he can help you plan whenever you play the Giants twice a year. He knows the other NFC East teams, and he's young and a really good player. This is not a bad move if you are the Washington Redskins. Again, Landon Collins' profile, missed 4 games in 2018 due to injury. We know that. Still had 96 combined tackles, no interceptions, but still, I think overall, when healthy, he's one of the best young safeties in the league. That's all time we have for today. Our weekly NFC East rumors. Next week will be the final rumors before free agency, so be sure to tune back into Chat Sports for that. Wherever all your other rumors, subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.
Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.